I have a lot of procrastination for doing the things that I actually want to do. I just have so many fucking things. Like, I started pole dancing a few years ago, and I know that I really want to pole dance because the style of dance that I did was so restricted, and I want to have other experience of being just like way more liberated with being seen and being watched in a way that like feels grungy, and I'm like so excited about it, and I sometimes go to classes. And I like want to go to classes all the time. I want to feel strong in my body again, like feeling like really powerful in my body. Like, I want to just look at the things I actually am interested and curious about and have the confidence to try them, to do them more, to choose them in any moment that I want to choose them. I look at the boomers and the women of the boomer generation, and they reframe everything. They reframed everything to cope with the world. I don't want to be that part of our generation. I want to I want to do it different. So I feel this like real crutch of having TV on to not feel pain, spiral into existential angst about my future, who I am, what I'm meant to be doing, and the emptiness that I feel going forward. Yeah, I want to feel like I can choose in any moment the stuff that I feels good but can't, that doesn't, isn't an addiction, or like isn't like a just like a coping thing. When we were doing this workshop and was trying to do the exercise, which was him making a request of my behaviors, I was just feeling like super attacked. The facilitator came along, like when she said it, I was like, oh yeah, that's totally reasonable. I could see like in that moment, I was like, whoa, I that whole time that he was making the request, I was like, how can he not do this exercise? Like, why can't he just do it where he's not being a total dick? Then I saw that I'm othering him, like I'm triggered before he even really does anything. I want to feel a sturdiness in a relationship. I want to be the one that when things aren't going well, that I'm like, okay, well, it's not going well. Here, like we know these tools work. I can apply this tool in this moment. Or it's like I'm just always trying to do the right thing and like be a good girl, essentially. Like that's really tiring. That craziness, like that inability to just be like, you are like you are worthy of food and like a break, and like you don't have to martyr yourself with this art project that matters but doesn't matter. And yeah, just that imbalance. It just makes me afraid to work. Like I want to have a relationship with my jobs where it's like I am sturdy in my relationship with my employers. I'm clear about how I like what I can do. I'm clear about how I want to show up for myself in those moments. A lack of clarity, a real confusion of purpose, and a lack of like being able to dream for what I want, being okay with failing, trusting that like all jobs are there to teach you something. You don't have to know everything about it. I feel stuck. I feel stopped. I feel like I don't go for anything or try anything or do anything in my life. I took this time to like, put my life back together, and now I'm just like sitting in the bus watching TV all day. That's kind of I guess that's kind of the summary.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I have done, I've been doing these dance classes with Holly, and I have been really surprising myself with how comfortable I've been in my body in them, and hearing me talk about like what I wanted. Yeah, it feels different. I feel different. Like even just the step of I've been reading while I've been on holiday instead of watching TV. And reading is an escape. I recognize that, but I haven't been able to read for years. He's like, where are you going? Like, where are you going? And I still don't know the answer, still don't know where we're gonna land. And I felt this, yeah, real clear trust that we'll land where we need to land. And I don't need to know where that is right now. And I feel confident to and trusting in myself to choose what's right, and trusting that I need to be there to choose that. Yeah, just proud of myself for choosing to come to Australia, like kind of on my own on this little journey, and feeling like both energized to go out and do some things as it suited me and enjoy my time here, and also rest as I needed to. Like I feel a lot more balanced. Yeah, that's kind of what my pattern is to go very, very hard and then crash. And I feel like I've just done this trip in a very mellow and achievable and maintainable way. Yeah, I'm not trying to overachieve all the time and like constantly failing at it. I'm just kind of going through each day and finding out what that feels like for the day and actually getting a lot more done because of it. Yeah, I think it's just this over sense of like self-criticism. Like I feel like there's just such a self-criticism in the way that I spoke about myself and my life. Yeah, there's quite a few little moments that stood out where I was like, whoa, that does feel very different. Still not knowing exactly what I'm doing, but feeling confident to go into that unknown. Constantly shopping online and not buying anything. And I just, being in Melbourne, I just went to some shops and I've just bought like a set of clothes from each kind of category that I wanted. The things that I needed that I wanted, I just went and I got them and I love them. I don't feel this urge to find more clothes anymore. Like I definitely just didn't have enough clothes because I was constantly throwing clothes out and then never buying anything new because I couldn't get to feeling deserving of new stuff. That actually I was realizing that I couldn't, it wasn't in the video, but I was remembering that time. I want this, but I can't do it. Cafe, and I think in the past when I've been traveling at places like this, I just wouldn't have the motivation to go and get myself my coffee that I am definitely addicted to and need to have every morning because I just I couldn't motivate myself to go walk 2 blocks to go and get it. Just all that stuff. It's real small stuff, but it just kind of starts to add up. The quality of the changes was something that I just couldn't have guessed. The way that things changed. I think the in particular that one where I am constantly monitoring like mood, generally men's moods and their emotions so that I can feel okay, like that. I just never thought that's been I think the most impactful. Like I never thought that I would be free of that behavioral pattern or that sensing into, like I was saying this week, where I just know when I don't want to push further into doing more stuff for the day, that being able to hear that voice is something I've heard people talk about before, where it's like I'm listening to my internal voice of what I need. That stuff, like when people say that, I'm like, yeah, you fucking, what are you even? I have no idea what you're talking about. That's weird, fucking hippie, and yeah, just like that exists. But I kind of, it's like you can't believe someone about that stuff until you experience it. Been really feeling is like quite decisive. I made like 4 decisions this week in that same vein where it's like I would rather feel the experience of being now, like hanging out with you, not being in a rush, not being annoyed at each other, not putting stress on the right now situation than like achieve this thing. And that's been feeling amazing because I really normally have trouble making those executive decisions. Experiment, like my system was just trying to experiment with like this overcompensating and this like this what is like necessary and like why do I follow the rules so much, breaking rules in a sort of a safe way. It was just like fascinating, really. On the phone with him just now, he said, I sort of told him like that I was doing this journey, and he said, he was like, immediately when you answered the phone, I just felt the sense that you're free. It was real cute. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And then the Holly and Conrad, the people I've been staying with, they said this. Conrad just said he was like, yeah, I just from knowing you before, I feel like there's you feel more yourself. So yeah, getting that feedback from people has been really cool.